Rune Factory, Guardians of Azuma just dropped, and let me tell you, I'm hooked. But even with how intuitive the game feels, there were a few things I wish I'd known before diving in. Some features weren't super clear, or I didn't quite get the first time around, and I definitely hit a few bumps along the way that could have been avoided. That's why in this video, we'll not only go through my mistakes, what you can avoid, but also how to make the most of your early gameplay as a beginner. So, let's save you some headaches, starting with village management. I really enjoyed the village building in this game. I knew that time stops when you go to village builder mode to decorate the development zone in any village. Development zones are the areas in any village where you can place your fields and buildings. But what I didn't know was that you can do more than just placing buildings and decor. My mistake was not doing farming tasks in village builder mode in the beginning. This saved me a lot of time, especially early in the game where you're just starting out trying to increase your earnings and improving your crops. You can place fields, plant, water, and even harvest crops all in village builder mode. For me, this gives me more time exploring the world and looking for those tricky frog statues. Going back to the crops, one mistake of mine is not improving the quality of crops right away. Aside from businesses, shipping of crops is one of the major ways of earning money in the game. And in this spin-off game, farming is fairly simple. For me, the best time to increase the quality of your crops is early in the game when you just unlock the development zones. The villagers will help you out in farming, but they are pretty random with the seeds and the crops, and I just didn't see that much improvement in increasing the quality. This is something you would have to do yourself if you want significant change. And you can do so pretty early on when you unlock the sacred sword. When a crop is ready to harvest, use the sword to reap the crops and turn them into seeds. These seeds will have a chance of being one level higher. Then rinse and repeat. Shipping a higher level crop will update the level of the seeds being sold in shops. But unfortunately, the villagers can still randomly plant level 1 seeds. So for me, I just sell the lower level seeds when I have a significant amount of the higher level ones that I can leave the villagers to use. Villagers place the harvested crops directly into the shipping bin. So if you have certain recipes you want to craft, make sure to check the shipping bin at the end of the day so you can decide if you want to save or sell the crops. Moving on to decorations, we all know that each building and decoration increases certain stats. Crafting and placing small decorations is also an easy way to increase the village levels. But cleaning or decorating really takes a long time, or so I thought. What I didn't know was that you can long press and just drag in overhead view for quick and easy placement or removal. I personally find using the mouse mode faster. I really like this quality of life feature because decorating shouldn't be difficult. Oh, and I play on PC, but I heard it's the same on Switch. As for the villagers, one mistake that I made was not evicting villagers with not so good qualities like Slacker or Worrywart at the start. These qualities slow down the improvement of your village, and they eat up funds too. Since I had the space, I naively thought it would be okay for them to stay, but when I was too focused on exploring and doing the main story, the shipment and village happiness were down. So you have to be picky and choose. Remember, you will get a steady flow of new villagers at the end of the day, so try and have a few openings in your villages by then. Look for villagers with high output and good qualities. You can find more information on their qualities under the villagers menu. I would recommend getting those with qualities that can run shops like carpenters, blacksmiths, and chemists, so that you won't end up with empty buildings. I find it easier to get these qualities when the specific building is placed in the village, but it could also be my current village level, which is at 4. Moving on to exploration. I really like how the drops are automatically sent to the storage when your inventory is full. Unfortunately, what this means though is that you won't be able to use the items that are under storage, and you would have to manually move them to your inventory. My mistake was that you can only transfer items between the storage and inventory at a campfire while exploring. You see, you can view all of your items, both in your storage and in your inventory, directly from the inventory menu. What I didn't know was that you won't be able to transfer items between them from here. And I learned that the hard way during a boss battle. I survived, but, well, I wouldn't want to go through that again. Inside villages, you can transfer items with a dedicated storage box in your room and the shipping shed. Oh, and you can also sell directly from your storage to any shop. Next in exploration is the Sky Islands. You can travel using the dragon pretty early on, and move from village to village. I didn't know that there are other available islands that are not part of the main story quest that you can travel to early on. I guess I was just too focused on the quest indicators. In the maps, you would have to really zoom out to find it. I personally found hints of it back in the Autumn Village. And I love how it expands the lore and provides more ways to make the gameplay a bit more interesting. In this semi-open world, you must remember that not every nook and corner of the map is accessible right away. I have the tendency to try and 100% the map when it becomes available right away, but sometimes it just consumes my time looking for other ways to get in. And that is my mistake. By not being patient enough to unlock the features, I waste my time exploring and getting lost. There are areas where you use the map only as a guide, but always try to look at what's in front of you because sometimes it's right there and it won't show up on the map. I know that this is common sense, but sometimes someone just needs to state the obvious. Oh, and speaking of waiting, some features like the barn, fishing, and chemist come a bit later in the game. As you travel, you will have to face enemies. And it scares me because I'm not really good at combat. My reflexes are not that good. But one thing that surprised me was how easy it is to use the bow. There is a learning curve, but it was far easier to use than in other games, at least for me. The auto-aim was a bit challenging at first. The enemies would need to be in front of you to aim properly, but it is pretty easy once you get used to it. For someone like me who is not good at fighting, getting to hit enemies from far away is godsend, especially with its AoE attack. The range is also pretty good. I find that I can be pretty far away and still hit. While exploring, one of the first things I interact with is the small shrine that gives recipes for weapons. This is so that I can forge it before going through the dungeon and fighting the boss battle in the area. I mentioned the AoE attack earlier, and well, you would have to manually learn it via the skill tree. If you've played previous Rune Factory games, you'd know that the skill tree is a new feature. And while I am aware of it, my mistake was that it took me a long while to actually unlock the skill tree nodes outside of the tutorial. I find the gameplay pretty easy, so I thought it wasn't as urgent. But learning and upgrading skills makes certain aspects of the game far easier, giving you more time for other things, be it exploration, village management, or bonding. And one tip to earn XP early in the game is by spamming sacred tools, especially before going to sleep to end the day. This time around, you won't need RP in farming, logging, or mining, so you will find your RP plentiful during the early game. Spend your RP by spamming your sacred tools to gain XP for that given tool, even without hitting anything. Aside from combat skills, skill nodes from the social skill tree are something you should also consider because this will let you unlock more options to increase your bond with your party members, named NPCs, or love interests. Try your best to increase your bonds with them early on as they give out recipes, increase stats, and most of all, a good story. Another mistake of mine is not updating the equipment of my party members. To be honest, your party members' starting equipment is pretty sufficient in the early dungeons that I didn't even notice any disparity. To save resources, you can probably just start updating their weapons and equipping them with armor when dungeons are getting a bit challenging. It definitely made the boss battles easier. If you're into aesthetics, you probably won't miss this because changing their appearance uses the same menu. One thing to note though, is that I never had trouble with resources and money in the game, even with all the construction, crafting, and quest requirements. If you find it challenging, Let me know, and I could make a separate video. I know some of these were mentioned in the early tutorials, but it's usually information overload in the first few in-game days. So if you're like me who forgets things, this is your gentle reminder. And in this video, we're sharing our top picks for cozy and farming games. A mix of both full releases and early access gems we've covered here on this channel. Some of these games have seriously raised the bar, and you won't want to miss out.